Hello, hello everyone. Let me change this. I gotta take the case off so it sits a little better. Maybe it'll sit worse. Today is day 9 of 21 days to building hope. And I wanna read this. I'm gonna read a couple things. It's a lot to read today. So let me read, this is a post, it's from a guy named Jeff Brown, and I love his work and I love his insights. But I posted it yesterday, and this is going to be a great topic for today. So most of us have had our fill with people telling us who we are, how we should see things, what we should do in various situations. It's like an unstoppable locomotive of human know-it-allness that masquerades as benevolent support. And that is really important to remember, because I've had many people go, I'm just trying to make it better. I'm just trying to be supportive. And it's not at all. It doesn't matter what they think it is. It's how it happens for you. It isn't benevolent support unless it is directly asked for. It's one thing to ask someone for their perspective on your situation. It's quite another for them to fling it at you uninvited. That seldom helps. What does help is holding the space for another's situation with real-time presence, listening close, inquiring into their experience, and if you feel that you have a perspective to offer, asking them if they're interested in exploring it. If they aren't, leave it be and understand they're just being there with them is the best way to help them through it. You may feel powerless, but you aren't. Your presence empowers them. Yes, insight can be helpful at times, but presence is always helpful. Because what most of us need is to feel accepted by those we share with, not fixed, not corrected, not should on, accepted. And ironically, it is that feeling of acceptance that opens the door to new perspectives, not because you told them what to think, but because your loving presence made them feel safe, even though safe enough to think differently. Please don't care. People don't care what you know, but they do care when you care. They do know when you care. Jeff Brown. Hey, Barbara, I tagged you on purpose. And then Fiona, along your lines, you talked about you had to step away from a friend who do this to you repeatedly. So I want to share, my husband does this, and I'm going to tell you, and I do it to him. So in all fairness, but he, in his life, was wired by a very critical father who everything he did was corrected. And I have the same pattern, because I was raised in a very abusive Catholic upbringing, and that was constantly correcting me, constantly telling me where I'm wrong, what I'm doing wrong. So it just makes sense. It makes so much sense that my husband and I are together, because it's like we click in that way. And if you can see this in this way, this is what I want to say. There is absolutely a time and a place to let people go. And only we can know that for ourselves when it's right for us. We have to go, I'm right with this. I'm good with this. Mine is, like I said, if somebody owns something and we can work through it, I'll keep working with them on it. But if they're like, I can't talk about it, I'm not going to deal with it, I can't work with that. So then for me, it's done. It's done. And every one of us individually has to decide that for ourselves. I would tell you, I probably tend to hang on to things too long at times. And yet when I look at that, I think of all the things that I've learned about myself in the hanging on to something. So it's different for everyone. So keep that in mind. I tend to hang on too long. So consider the source. And if you're somebody, but what I also see is when people are like, nope, they're out of my life. Nope, they're out of my life. And they're so quick to let people go, then the pattern's not healed. The pattern's not healed. And really, Fiona, what I heard you saying is you stepped away in, to me, the most emotionally fit kind of way. You're like, it kept happening again and again. I'd put boundaries up. The boundaries kept getting violated, and I'm done. That is emotional fitness. So it's, where do you land? Do you bend over and take it too much? Do you cut people off at the slightest infraction, or do you go, I'm trying I'm going to keep working with this. And then, okay, the boundary, it's my drop dead date. The boundary keeps getting crossed and I'm done. So it's only we individually can know what that is for ourselves. No matter what that boundary is, for someone else, it doesn't have to be the same for us, and it's not. So it's something to remember that. And I want to tap on that. I'll tap on that and then I'll read out of this book. So, yes, I've hung on too long. Oh, right, sister. And I've learned a lot because I have. But I just know that now I'm done. Not for any reason other than, I love when I can't, the see more is there and I can't. There it is. Any other reason than I know it's time. That's beautiful, Barbara. That's perfect. It's all of a sudden, it's like, it's just time. I'm just done. And that's what you're looking for, because it's that, get away from me, or the, I'll take it again. Neither of those is in sort of balance, but we have to honor the part of us that does either of those, because that's revealing wounds that we have. So not judge that part, not get mad at that part, go, my wounding is, as soon as I sense any kind of infraction, you're out of here. That's a self-protection technique. Okay, I'll try it once more time for the 50,000th time. That's the wound. That's the child. So as we learn to love and accept that part of us, it starts to change. So karate chop. Even though sometimes I have to step away, I just know it's the right time. I choose to honor my truth right now. Even though I might hang on too long, because I'm wired with guilt and shame. And that inner child in me that hangs on too long could really use my love and affection. Even though that inner child in me can reject someone instantaneously, cut them off at the slightest infraction, that's a wound too. And a self-protecting technique. I deeply and profoundly accept myself anyway now. Go to the eyebrow. Any way I look at this, my wounds get revealed to me. They're going to come up one way or the other. And what if I can start to see it that way? All this is just revealing wounds. That's what's happening here. And I like the idea that I can see it this way, see it differently. Hey, Cheryl, this is my wounding. That's the difference. And what if by honoring that part of me, soothing the guilt and shame, or soothing the terror that has me push someone away instantaneously, what if I start to heal? And I learn a different way to do this. And whether they cross my boundaries or not, I'm solid within myself. So I learn how to handle it a little better each time I encounter this. And what if that makes all the difference? I kind of like that idea a lot. So take a breath. So again, it's just the first thing is it's individual for each of us. We have to know, yeah, like to your point, Barbara, I just know it's time. It's just time. And that's when you know it's like, I'm just done. It's not like, oh, I'm done, or, oh God, I'm done. It's just time. It's just done. The emotion is more in balance. It's just like, no, it's over. I don't need to do this anymore. And that's huge. And even if you, like, I've thought about somebody, and I definitely ended a relationship with someone, a friendship that I cherished, and there was betrayal involved in it. And for me, what I needed was to be able to talk about it and to work it out. I literally knew I could handle whatever it was, but like, let's talk it through. But at the time I was met with, no, I can never talk about this again. So I actually tried to do that. I tried to do it, and I'm like, I can't brush it under the carpet. I can't. And then some other things happened, and I just was like, I'm done. But I will tell you, when I was done with that relationship, I was done. Like, done. And the cutting off I did was so solid. It was like everything. And when I look back on that now, I've thought about them recently and thought, I might write them an email and say, it still doesn't change that I feel like it was the right thing to do. But what I could say now with perspective is, had I been able to back then, I just couldn't. I couldn't have handled it any differently than I did. I probably would have been like, it's just not going to work for me. I can't do this. I love you dearly. If you ever change your mind, whatever. The one thing I did say when I ended it is I said, I want you to know my door is always, always open. If you ever find it in you that you want to talk this through, the door is always open. And they've made the choice to never step through that door. That's their choice. That's fine. So I know I handled it that way. Say, I'm always open to the conversation, always. But I did think, even like in my end, because there's so much time has passed now, I could be like, you know what? At the time I could just own, I was really hurt at that time, really hurt. And then to not feel like I could talk about it was just, like icing on the cake, but with some shit stirred in. I just couldn't do it. I just didn't have it in me. And I would say that's still the same for me. It's still the same for me. I can't fake it. I just can't. I can be like, oh, okay, we'll act like it never happened. I know that about myself. But I do see in that height of emotion and the betrayal and feeling hurt that now I would handle it because I have more emotional fitness about it. But of course I do, because I've got perspective in times past. And I may never choose to, write an email or send something like that. I might just be like, no, it's just what it is. I know I've always left the door open. The door's never been walked through, and that's a choice, and I get it. But those are things that we learn in time. You got to go through them. I just think there's so much information put out there like, oh, you're supposed to have it all together and handle everything so perfectly out of the gate. No freaking way. I've been with my husband 20 years now, going on 21. It'll be 20 years of marriage in June and 21 years together. And I'm not kidding. There are times just now, where we're like, oh, like I see some shifts between us that are phenomenal. And then other stuff that's like, it's still such a friggin' work in progress. And again, no one can decide what that, what the drop dead date is for each of us, or what we're willing to attend to. But you just know, like, you couldn't have said it better, Barbara, and even Fiona. It's just like, just done. I just had to let him go. I had to step away. I love the way you said it too, Fiona. I just had to step away. And then, Barbara, you're like, it's just time. And that's when you know. So that's it, Cheryl. Great to see you. And Cheryl, I am moving that call, so it'll be on Saturdays for you, just so you know. And I'll get back in touch. Hey, Donna. Nice to see you here. And this will be posted, and it'll also be on YouTube. All right. Have a great day. Bye, Barbara.